Hi, and welcome to The Bright Balloon, a podcast where I'm sharing bright ideas for your balloon business. My name is Sarah Meyer, and I'm a balloon business owner like you, and I love the creative side of what I do, but I really love the business side, which seems to be the part where most people struggle. So I'm here to help. Each week, I'm bringing you an episode full of bite-sized tips you can use to make tiny improvements to your business. I want you to make more money, eliminate stress, and learn along with me as we grow our creative businesses together. Welcome to The Bright Balloon. Hello and welcome to another episode. Today, I am bringing you a delightful interview with Elizabeth from Pop of Color. She has her own balloon company in Arizona and then started a subscription service, which is basically a recipe book for double stuffed balloons. So if you do double stuffed balloons and you are sick of testing and trying all the combinations and not getting the color that you want, she has a recipe book basically where you can find the color and skip all of the testing and just know exactly how your double stuffed recipe is going to turn out. So I love this interview. I loved hearing another perspective on double stuffed balloons because it's not something I do very often. And we talk about kind of why that is and why double stuffing may or may not fit in your business depending on which area of innovation you kind of lean into. So it was a very fun interview. Elizabeth was just wonderful to chat with, and we will get right into it after a quick break from our sponsor. If you haven't checked out Having a Party Wholesale yet, what are you waiting for? And guess what? The deal just got even sweeter. Our friends over at Having a Party have set up a special coupon code just for listeners of the podcast. Use code BRIGHTBALLOON for 5% off the next time you check out at Having a Party. So head over to havingaparty.com for your next balloon order. All right, welcome to this episode, Elizabeth from Pop of Color. That is the name of your balloon business and also your newer business, which we're going to talk about, which is your recipe book for double stuffed balloon colors. I'm so excited to have you on.
Yes, thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited.
So before we jump in, why don't you just give us the overview, where you're located, how big your business is, how long you've been in business. Give us all the nuts and bolts.
Sure. So I am based out of Phoenix, Arizona. Like you said, the name of my business is Pop of Color Balloon Design. I officially started the business in March of 2021. So I'm coming up on my 2-year anniversary, but I've been doing balloons for about 5 years now. I think I started the same way that a lot of us have started, which was I had a baby and I was getting ready to start planning her first birthday party. And that was right when organic balloons started popping up all over Instagram. I saw them, I loved them. I was looking for somebody to do something for her birthday, but there wasn't really anybody in my area that was doing organic balloon design quite yet. So I took to YouTube and figured I would learn how to do it myself. That first garland that was 12 feet long took me like 5 days because I was doing by hand every single balloon and putting them together. So luckily we've come a long way, but just been doing a lot of stuff for family and friends up until March of 2021 when I finally decided to take the leap and make a real business out of it.
So now is it still just you or do you have any help?
So it is, I guess, officially just me, but I do have 3 inflators. So they're all contract employees with me. I've gone through a few different iterations of having employees since March of this year, but so far what is working best for me right now is those inflators, very similar to what you just talked about in one of your most recent episodes. So I charge them or I pay them by the foot that they inflate. It's been fantastic. So we run a lean business. I'm still based out of my house here. I work out of my garage. I still rent U-Hauls, so I don't have a truck. So we're running lean.
Yeah, but I mean, I think that's amazing. Like, that's obviously my preference. I feel like I am always going to advocate for, not moving into a warehouse on day one before you even know if you really like this business. I like that it's flexible and you can grow into new spaces. You can grow into more employees. You can always grow, but to start that large, I think is scary. So I think I'm 7 years in and I'm still just officially me, but then I have the inflator now and it is a game changer. So let's jump right in while we're all here, double stuffing the D word. Um, so we did have another episode, and I know you are aware of it with Joette from Balloon Coach, where we talked about double stuffing and how it wasn't necessarily geared towards how people should never do it, but there's a lot of people double stuffing every balloon because somewhere someone along the line told them that that's what professionals do. So kind of what is your intro into double stuffing? What is your take on it? Is it an always do, sometimes do, a never do?
So I have a couple of kind of thoughts behind double stuffing. Obviously, I'm here because I love custom colors. I am like so passionate about creating custom color balloons, and I'll talk a little bit about how that passion started and how it's led me to creating this recipe book. But the other reason that I find double stuffing to be important is because I'm based in Arizona, and it's not just hot in the summer. It's like you can fry an egg on the ground outside. It's very, very hot. So when I was first starting, I was doing setups outside, and my balloons, no matter what you do with them, they pop, and they'll pop a lot more quickly here in really intense heat in direct sunlight than they will in other parts of the country or other parts of the world. So I found pretty quickly that a way that I could solve that problem for my clients so they could have their balloons last a little bit longer was to double stuff them if I was doing setups outside in direct sunlight. So I think those two things are the biggest and probably the only reasons to double stuff, is to create custom colors and then also just, eliminate at least some of the popping that you're going to get from your balloons if you live in a climate like this where it's extreme temperatures.
Okay, so I don't. I live in Wisconsin where it's like sunny 3 days of the year, and the rest of the time it's just like miserable and snowy. So the heat isn't really an issue except for like July. There's like a few weeks where it's really, really hot. But tell me more about the double stuffing for the heat, because this is new to me. What happens when it pops? Does just the outside balloon pop, or do they both pop, but it lasts longer? Like, this is the first I've heard of that technique.
Yeah, so usually if you're double stuffing and it's intense heat, the first that will go is that outside balloon. So a lot of times if I'm doing, I really don't do outdoor setups much at all anymore in the
Okay.
summer months here because it's just so hot. It's even dangerous to be out there for
Yeah.
long periods of time. But when I was first starting, what I found was that if I just double stuffed a balloon, the same color balloon inside of that same color, when the outside balloon pops, you still have that inside balloon. So you're not going to lose any of the effect of your
Okay, so that was going to be my second color. So you wouldn't want to do this with custom colors, because if the pink outside balloon pops and the brown inside balloon is still there, that would look bad. So you're doing the same color inside of each other.
Yes, if I'm doing it for the purpose of saving my design for
Gotcha.
outdoor
Gotcha.
setup. Yes.
So then indoors, if popping is not a concern, that's when you love your custom colors. So tell us more about that.
So custom colors are, I just find them to be so incredibly beautiful. When I was first starting to research organic balloon design, I was seeing all of these just like absolute works of art from people. And actually the thing that got me the most interested was two things. The first one was I was seeing all of these really beautiful milky pastel colors, and I was also seeing a lot of nude balloons. And I had no idea where people were finding those colors. I was on all of the wholesale websites and I was like, where do you find
Right.
matte milky balloons? I couldn't figure it out. And like, who is selling these nude balloons that look so beautiful? And I had done a ton of research on YouTube, found some other balloon stylists, and I just happened to fall into a video where somebody showed stuffing one balloon inside of another to create a new color. And I was like, that's blowing my mind.
Yeah.
That's genius, and it's so beautiful. So I started on this obsession with custom colors because I wanted to figure out how to make the perfect nude. I couldn't figure it out myself, and I spent so much money, Sarah, on all different colors of balloons, like so many bags of balloons. And I was like, there has to be a better way. Like, I want to make these really beautiful colors, but I'm spending so much money to just test out different colors together
Yeah.
that I'm wasting all of this material cost and I'm not making any money from my clients. So, I mean, I still did that for a long time because I was just so obsessed with it. But that was kind of where the idea of the recipe book was born. I am very big on this whole community over competition thing that we've heard a lot about from other balloon stylists all over. And I've always been very much an open book. If people ask me questions about, how do I price, or, what hooks do I use? I've always been there to answer those questions for people. And so the recipe book was something that I was passionate about because for other people who want to make custom colors, I didn't want it to be as hard and as expensive as it was for me. So I wanted to have a place where people could come. They don't have to do all of the guesswork. They can see exactly how to make the color that they want. So they only have to buy 2 colors of balloons because they know exactly what it's going to look like when they put those 2 colors together.
Yeah, that's so smart. And that is, I have like kind of the same struggle, but like running parallel to yours. And that is just like the documenting. Like I am on this quest now to like write down my recipes for not my colors, but like a column, because now that I have an inflator, all this stuff is in my head and I have to get it down on paper. And it's like, if only I had done that 7 years ago, it would all be done. But I think just like the custom colors, if I were you, I would have found that perfect nude and then done the job and not written anything down. And then the next time I needed that perfect nude, I would have been guessing again. So like, this is kind of my 2023 goal is like recording things and making things easier, not only for myself, but for other people and for people that might work for me or work for me in the future. But even if the only thing that people get from this episode is your idea of like documenting it, putting it somewhere so that you don't have to waste that money and that time the next time, I think that's really important.
Yeah, you don't have to recreate the wheel every time. Yeah,
Right.
totally.
Like I've made that quick link beer mug like 3 times this year. Every Oktoberfest in my town wanted one. And every single time I'm like Googling photos and trying to like count how many balloons, and they all came out different. So I just need to start writing things down. So speaking of that, tell us about your recipe book. Like, how does it actually work? What do people get? It's monthly. Like, just explain the whole thing.
Sure. So it is a monthly subscription. It's $9.99 a month, and you get access to the entire library of custom colors that we have in there currently. So I have been adding custom colors every single month since January when it launched, and I continue adding new colors every month moving forward. So right now we have, I think, about 160 different custom color recipes in there for every color of the rainbow. We've got a red section, greens, blues, nudes, off-whites, browns, like everything, you name it, we've got a section in there, and there's at least 10 different colors in each of those sections that you can choose from. So the way that the recipe book is laid out, I match all of the balloons to Pantone colors. So in the recipe book, on one side of the page, you'll see a Pantone color swatch with the name of that Pantone color. And then in the middle, you'll see what the actual recipe is. So this color inside this color is going to get you that. And then on the right side, you'll see a picture of what the balloon actually looks like when it's inflated. So you can see the Pantone color swatch and the balloon right next to each other.
So is it an actual photo of a balloon, or is it like a photoshopped
It's
balloon?
an actual photo of a balloon. So you'll see my hand for
No,
every
I think that's so important. Like even in some of the color charts, probably my own, or like, if you get the Qualitex color chart, some of the colors on there, like depending on what phone or what screen, I'm like, this is nothing like how this looks. Like nothing.
Yeah.
And I do have one client that I'm thinking of right now that like this is why I would double stuff. And I don't typically double stuff, but this is why I would, is because I do have a client and money is not a issue. They do not care and they want their colors. And they're like that weird, I don't think there's a lot of very great like teal turquoisey options. And they're right in between like Caribbean blue, which is like pretty light, and then tropical teal, which is pretty dark. They're they're in between and also like a little bit more blue. So like I can't match their color. So in my head I'm like, what recipe would that be?
Yeah. It's another really great thing for corporate clients. So I have so many corporate clients who reach out to me specifically because they know I can custom match their branding colors.
Yeah,
And that's a really great thing to be able to offer those clients. And it really does set you apart from other people because if you can say, hey, I can specifically match exactly what your branding colors are, they're like, great, sign me up. And I'm
right.
going to have you back for every single event.
Yeah, that's that same client that I'm thinking of. Like literally they sent me their Pantone colors. And I was just kind of like, well, here are my colors. And it worked out. But like, yeah, I think that would have been more impressive if I could have custom matched just a few of them, not everything.
Right.
Um, but the time and the energy, like you said, that's where I see the big value being is like not wasting 20 balloons trying to even find that color in the first place.
Yeah, exactly. I have a whole garage full of balloons right now in my back stock, which is great because now I've got inventory to last, I mean, probably until eternity. But the cost of that, it was a lot. So I don't want anybody to have to go through that if they don't have to.
Yeah. And then I just saw your teachable moment the other day when we're recording this. It was like yesterday, but in real time, this interview is going to come out in a few weeks. But you did a great job.
Thank you.
You
So did
made me
you.
look like a fool because I went right after you. How long were you teaching?
I was on there for about an hour and a half, I think.
Okay. Well, I made it like 20 minutes. And then
But
I was like,
yours was so great too. I learned so much from that, and that was so valuable. I'm like, okay, now I know how to make bases myself.
I was
Great.
like, well, that's all I got, folks. So, but no, that was so fun to be on the teachable moment and kind of watching you in your, just do the custom colors because I think a lot of people, like you said, it's a new concept. Like, what are you even talking about double stuffing? We probably should have started with that, but obviously at this point, it's putting one balloon inside another balloon. And then you shared some tips on your teachable moment about tying. Can you talk about that for a sec? Because I think that's hard tying all those balloons. So do you have any tips?
It is hard. So, when you are just starting out with double stuffed balloons, probably the easiest thing for your hands and the easiest thing for like getting them all tied together is to just tie the inside balloon necks together. So, all you do is pull out the neck of the inside balloon that you have stuffed inside the outside balloon and just tie those ones together. And it's just going to be a lot easier on your fingers and it'll be basically exactly the same as tying a balloon that's not double stuffed.
Yeah, that's smart. So the outside balloon is just like a skin.
Yeah, exactly.
So I have some super like detailed questions that I'm thinking of as you're speaking here. Is there a difference in double stuffing 5-inch balloons versus 11 and 16? Like, are the colors pretty consistent or do you feel like the size matters?
The colors actually are pretty consistent. So I know that we've probably all been there where we get like, I was actually just using Qualitex Mocha the other day and I had 11-inch Mocha and I had 5-inch Mocha and I put them side by side and they're like not the same color when
Yeah.
they're inflated. So I'm sure we've all had that issue, but one of the cool things about double stuffing is that if there are slight variations in color like that, it really does kind of mask that. So you do get a balloon that ends up looking very similar in color, if not identical, regardless of the size that you're using. Now, the different brands, the different colors that come from each brand, those will make different custom colors. So if you're using, say, a Qualitex Mocha but a Tuftex Cocoa, those are going to make two very different custom colors if you're putting them inside of the same balloon.
Oh,
like
interesting.
but if you're using the same brand colors for all of the different sizes, you'll be good to go.
Interesting. So has there been anything that you've kind of discovered? Like I picture you as like little mad scientist, but when I tried to dabble in double stuffing, it was way more complicated because it's not just like put whatever color inside white and then it's a lighter color. Like it's weird how the colors turn into different colors. It's like you put this inside pink and all of a sudden it's lighter. Like I don't know. What is there any rule of thumb that you could just give like when in doubt put it inside white or when in doubt put the dark inside the light one? Like I don't even know where to start.
One of the things that I think is the most interesting color combo is black inside yellow. So most of the time when you put black inside anything, like you said, it's really just going to make that color a little bit darker. So it's really fun to put, say, black inside pink and then pink inside white, because you get a really pretty color combo there that looks really nice together. But yellow is like the only one that's different. If you put black inside yellow, it turns green. It's like a chartreuse green.
Oh,
It's
cool.
crazy. So I've learned, I've had to teach myself a lot about color theory.
Yeah.
I did not go to college for anything art related, so I had no idea about color theory, but that's a really interesting one. Um,
Can I put you on the spot here?
sure.
Do you have any, can you, and if you're like, buy the recipe book, just tell me. But I'm wondering if you give us a free little nugget. Do you have any solutions for maroon? That is the one color that no brand makes. I don't know why they all just continued it at the same time. I don't know how to make it. I always am just like, here's pink. I hope you think it looks maroon.
Let me pull up. I actually have a couple in there, so let me pull up.
Oh,
I know, I know. I also just dropped one, a new one this last month for the holidays. So let me pull it up and find my favorite one.
well, and while you look, that just kind of led me to another really, really solid reason why you might want to consider double stuffing, which is the color literally doesn't exist. Not even a super custom color. There are everyday colors that, like, for whatever reason, our manufacturers are just not producing right now.
Right.
Navy is another super controversial one. Everyone's like, everyone hates all the navies. I like Qualitex navy. Everyone else is like, no, that's purple. They use metallic, but there's this big navy debate. So you could get your preferred specialty color if you know how to mix it.
Yes. Okay, so I've got my favorite maroon here. It's called Winery in the recipe book, and it is any brand red
Okay.
inside Qualitex sparkling burgundy. So
Okay.
sparkling burgundy is transparent and it looks so beautiful, like stuffed with anything. But
Okay.
that red inside sparkling burgundy will get you like the actually, well, I guess nobody can see because this is a podcast, but I have it. I have it on a grab and go garland that I'm about to send out today, and I love
Nice.
it.
Well, yeah, because sparkling burgundy on its own is like super uggo. Like it's like see-through
Yeah.
brown. I'm like, this isn't even burgundy. So
Right.
interesting. That is such a good freebie you just gave out. Thank you. There's so many people struggling for maroon right now. Um, it's because of schools and colleges. I am lucky I don't have a school or a college that's burgundy, but I know a lot of people do. And there's just like no good solution. So thank you for that.
Yeah, Arizona State University is out here, and the colors are maroon and gold, but it's not a chrome gold.
Yeah.
So I had a ton of clients this last end of school year asking for ASU maroon and gold, but they didn't want chrome. And that was another one that was really challenging to figure out how you make that college gold, but it's like yellow. It's like
Yeah.
not actually gold.
It's like
So
darker than goldenrod, but lighter
yes,
than
yeah.
metallic gold.
Exactly. So we have a recipe for that too. It's actually called college gold. So that was a fun combo to make.
Amazing. That is so smart. Okay, let's take a quick break and then we will get back into it. I want to talk about kind of like different business models. I've talked about this thing area of innovation. I really leaned into it in my business. But I can tell that we have a different area of innovation. So I just like to kind of discuss that after we take a quick break.
Great.
I bet you've listened to more than one Bright Balloon episode, and I bet you've heard my voice before a few times. My name is Jeff from Balloon Suite, and my team specializes in marketing your balloon decor business online. As you're growing your business, it can be hard to figure out where to put your time and treasure. It can be hard to figure out what exactly to do on your website to increase sales and increase leads. My team already knows exactly what to do to help your business move forward. Come on over to balloonsuite.com, check out our plans and pricing. We would love to provide the website that helps you double the amount of revenue you're generating from your business.
Okay, welcome back. This has been amazing. I'm so excited to try some of these little color recipes that you have given us. But I did want to take a second and just chat about kind of like business models. So I never realized this, but after I read the pumpkin plan, it became very clear to me that my area of innovation, so this AOI is this big thing he talks about. I am very much focused on convenience, and I kind of was before, but didn't realize it had a name or a thing or that I was doing something. But once I realized that convenience was the reason where people were booking me, and also kind of the area where I naturally gravitate towards, it really clarified a lot in my business in terms of like what I was promoting, what I was doing, how I was interacting with people. So in dedicating myself to convenience, I've had to sacrifice a bit in the other areas, which are price and quality, or like customization. Kind of this whole idea that you can't have everything. Like you can't be the cheapest, the best, and the easiest. Like you'll just go bankrupt. So I can tell just from chatting with you, you are probably not in the super convenient rock bottom prices, commercial, just get as much done as possible camp like I am. You, I'm assuming, are in that quality customization. Like I can tell from the way that you're talking, you're excited about it. It's what you love, and you like providing people kind of with that service. So how has that idea of like knowing that you're going in from this super quality angle, how has that impacted everything from your course or from your offerings to how people book you to how you communicate? How do you kind of lean into that customization area?
That's a really great question. And yeah, I mean, I totally agree with you. I lean more toward the like quality side, and I want it to be an experience when clients come to book with me. So that starts from the very beginning of the process. My idea for my business is that I want people to feel like they are getting a piece of art from me. It's not just balloons, it's a piece of art. And so I start that from the very beginning of the process. I have them fill out my inquiry form, and then if I'm available, we book a phone consultation. And I don't allow people to move forward with me in the process until we've had that phone consultation. So sometimes that's not what a client is looking for. They're like, I just want to be able to like click a button, tell you what I want, and like you book it and it's done. And so, I miss those opportunities with those clients, but what I want to focus on is the clients who want to sit down with me for 15 minutes, tell me their entire vision, and I can visualize that vision with them and make it come to life. So I start with that consultation. After we get off the phone, I create a mood board for them. And this is before they book with me. So that mood board has their color palette on there, which I use Pantone color swatches for so they can see exactly what the balloons are going to look like. And then the rest of that mood board is really just kind of general vision inspiration for their party. And then once they like the color palette and the mood board, that's when they put their deposit down. So I like to feel like the entire process is an experience with me, and it's not just like, you're going to go pick whatever balloons and then that's
Yeah.
it. So I totally agree with you. I think, obviously it works for my business, but I also know that I am missing out on clients who may want that convenience because they're just not going to get that from me. They're going to get the quality, but not the convenience.
Right. But I don't think you're missing out. Like that has been a big shift for me this year too. Like, yes, I am losing some clients, but it's to better align myself with the clients that we're going to work really well together, because I love your process. It's totally different from mine though, because I get those people who are like, it's 1 a.m. and I just want to book the balloons on my phone right now, like whatever. Those are the people I get. But you just said so much awesome stuff. I am thinking about changing my workflow to really start with that phone call. Fill out the form so I know what you want, so I don't get scared on the phone. Like I feel like I'm always off guard when I'm on the phone. So, and then going into the phone call, and I really like that pain point that you solve. People want a visual, but I like that you're just doing a mood board and focusing on the colors and not necessarily like designing their entire party, because I think that's where people get into trouble. They do all of this work designing and then the person doesn't book them. But if you do your strategy of like colors and kind of the feel, you haven't designed anything. You've just kind of put something together so they trust you. They know that we're on the same page. And that way they can't then take that to another person and be like, can you do this for cheaper? Granted, those probably aren't the customers that you're getting anyway, but I really like that that's kind of like a middle ground of giving them a taste without giving away everything. If that makes sense.
I can't tell you how many times I did, I don't do mock-ups very often because they do take so much time, and I don't want to spend all that time up front if I'm not going to get booked by the client. but I feel like they are bad luck for me. Every single time I have
Mock-ups?
done a mock-up for a client before they book, they don't book.
Interesting. Yeah, and it's a lot. They're a lot of work. And I feel like sometimes my mock-ups like don't really do it justice. Like you can't really see. So I love this idea of just like using photos to get kind of the overall vibe. And now, are you doing this for like $200 parties? Like, do you do this for everybody?
No. So all of my full service setups start at $500. I have a minimum set of $500.
Okay.
I do offer grab and go garlands for clients who are less than that. And I don't offer mood boards. They can just go onto my website and order it and tell me what colors they want. And then it's done. So
Perfect.
I do, I guess, have that like type of convenience there. But for a full service setup, if I'm going to the client, then it's the rest of that process.
Very cool. Wow. I feel like I've gained so much from this. I'm noodling around in my head how I'm going to change my sales process. And I love that idea of like, you get the mood board, but that's it. I think that's very cool. Well, speaking of your website where people can order balloons, that is where people go to subscribe to the color recipe book as well, right?
Yes.
And tell us where that is and what people need to do to get their recipe book.
So my website is popofcoloraz.com. And when you get to the website, there is a section on the top that says For Balloon Pros. So you just click on that, and that's where the recipe book is. It is a subscription, so it's $9.99 a month. I think I mentioned that already. But you just put in all of your information. You'll get a login information, and you can go log in anytime you need it. You can have it on your phone. When you are visiting a client, you can show them the Pantone colors. So it makes it really nice and convenient.
Very cool. Well, I gotta say, I came in not a double stuffer. I'm leaving maybe an occasional double stuffer. You've sold me on the college gold. That is a problem that I am glad you have solved. So that's exciting. And I think people listening, like, hopefully you now can hear, like, we've had 2 interviews. One, like why you shouldn't and why you should. And I think we're all somewhere along that spectrum. Ask me on a Tuesday and I might be against it, and then ask me on a Friday and I might be for double stuffing. But it doesn't have to be this polarizing topic where it's 100% one way or the other. I'm very much in the middle.
Awesome. Good.
Well, thank you so much for taking the time. This has been so fun. It's been so nice to chat with you and meet you. And I can't wait to head over to your website and check it out. Also, I was on your website earlier, and everyone should head there because it's beautiful. Like, it's it's really well laid out. It's so pretty. So tons of inspiration if you want to go over and browse your website.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me, Sarah. This was so much fun.
Thank you. Thanks for listening. As usual, I tried to keep it bright and light. If you are interested in bonus episodes, check out our Patreon group where I release an additional episode every single week, and you unlock more than 50 archived episodes as soon as you join. Check out the link in the show notes wherever you're listening.